Hello, everyone. This is Montez Really Reacts. This is my segment of the story of, when I talk about Chicago drill rappers who are no longer here with us and who are still here with us. Well, today's a special one. This story right here is the story of HK, aka the Headshot King. Now, let's go into the background of HK. Real name Hakeem Murray. He was born in Southside Chicago. He is the younger brother of Slutty, T-Roy, which are all now deceased. Hakeem Murray lived on the south side of Chicago, and he grew up in Parkway Gardens. That's what it was called before O.D. Perry got killed. Then it was called O Block. O Block beef with STL, EBT, JoJo World, and Taekwon World. Taekwon World stood for TW because a young guy named Taekwon was shot and killed at a party, which it was believed was someone from O Block that did it, and there was two people that was actually arrested for that. That was just giving you a little bit of background on who O Block was into it with at that time. You didn't really hear about HK a lot coming up in the drill scene, but you heard about his older brother T-Roy. T-Roy was the top honcho in O Block. He was with the next top honcho, which is O Block King Von. It was even rumored that they both were so much of best friends that they would keep up with each other's body count to see who can kill more ops than the other one. It was rumored that T-Roy didn't allow HK to be in the streets because of what was going on. He didn't want his brother to be involved in none of that. HK was like a cool guy. He was kind of like one of those guys that would just be in the background in the videos you'll see here and there, and didn't realize it was him this whole time until a lot of years that went past. Or he's just the type of guy to be a ladies' man, you know what I'm saying, to be with the gang and all the pictures. You didn't really see HK inside the streets a lot. It was always said that HK used to look up to T-Roy, and with the help of Chief Keef shouting out T-Roy in songs, let the ops know who T-Roy is for sure, and let the world know, and everybody on the block know that T-Roy was one of the top dogs. So HK actually used to look up to T-Roy real heavy. You can tell HK's love with T-Roy through numerous pictures. There was even a picture of T-Roy and HK playing a video game console, which shows that they actually lived in the same home. So HK, he used to hang out with the younger crowd, such as Big A, Jado, and the Jado Jump Out Boys. And you would always see HK in pictures with Mona Duke and E-Dog. Well, in Chicago-like fashion, O Block would begin to take a lot of losses. They begin to lose people like OD. They begin to lose people like J Money. And one death that actually sparked HK to actually start getting heavy in the streets is the death of his homie Big A. Big A was called ASKI, short for ASKI, because it was rumored that the gunman that was involved in the shooting of Kakara Barnes was actually Big A and not King Von. King Von even confirmed it in one of his songs. He said we would slide and it was me and Big A. So when Big A was shot and killed, HK began to get in the streets real heavy. Then HK will lose another homie by the name of Jado, which is O Block BJ's little brother. So that was just a little bit of background. So now that I gave you some background on HK, how he grew up in O Block, he's a younger brother of T-Roy. Then I gave you a little bit of history on the early drill stage of HK. Then I gave you some history on HK upcoming in O Block with all of the guys and the members. Now let's talk about the situation and go to the fateful day that turned HK's world upside down. February 14th, 2017. T-Roy woke up. He was on that side. T-Roy woke up. It was it felt like a regular day. It felt like any other ordinary morning on a Valentine's Day. T-Roy was in Paxtown. T-Roy was hanging out with a girl that was located in a store in Paxtown. It was rumored that T-Roy went to the store and left the house, it was said that T-Roy didn't eat a certain type of bacon that the girl had at her house, so he wanted to walk down to the store and told her he'd be right back. But he never knew that he would never make it back. Video footage outside of other stores shows T-Roy walking with unknown person, and cameras outside of the stores shows T-Roy approaching a store in Paxtown, walking with an unknown person. T-Roy enters the store. Now there's footage inside the store that shows T-Roy. He goes inside the store. He's in there shopping. He's talking to the man that he was walking with, when out of nowhere, two people, which are rumored to be Taekwon World TV and STL Can't Get Right Man, walk in the store, and they approach T-Roy. Well, Can't Get Right stays as a lookout right there stalling, sitting by the door, and then TB walks up, pulls out a gun, and shoots T-Roy one time. The two suspects run out the store, and after that, the video ends. But, well, T-Roy was fighting for his life on the ground. T-Roy fought long as he could until the ambulance showed up, but eventually was pronounced dead at the hospital. The death sent shockwaves through the internet, through 600, through a whole block, through 300, and the whole block. Everyone was mourning T-Roy from O Block. Muwop, E-Dog, and his little brother HK didn't even make any post regarding the death, assuming that he was doing funeral planning with his family. The ops couldn't wait to hop on live and diss T-Roy. Skinny, Jarrow City Skinny, was on live. He will make incriminating posts talking about T-Roy. And FBG Duck was even on live taunting T-Roy, saying that his death wasn't that important if it wasn't all over the internet. But eventually it did hit the internet. It was true. T-Roy had passed away. But there was one incriminating message from Buka 600 that assured the fans that it was going to for sure be revenge, by saying that y'all don't know the half of what's finna transpire. Chief Keef responded to T-Roy's death. Lil Durk, 600 Breezy. Everyone knew, but everyone wondered what was going to happen. The fans just sit back and waited. Eventually, the first murder would hit the airwaves, all over the internet, and that was T.W. Poppy. Poppy was at work. It was rumored that Poppy was at work. He was helping a woman take her groceries out the store because he was one of the people who pushed the buggies at the store. And he was helping a woman to her car when a car pulled up right behind the woman's car, an all-black car pulled. Right after that, a black car pulled up. Suspect hopped out with a ski mask on and shot Poppy, leaving him on the ground. In a scary scene. There was a video footage on YouTube of Poppy's murder, but I think it has since been deleted. It was rumored that it was HK, T-Roy's little brother. If so, he was starting to get back, because E-Dog did warn everybody that it was going to be a lot of get back, coming soon. And E-Dog did warn everybody that it was going to be. E-Dog did warn everybody that it was going to be some get back coming soon. And they created the gang, Get Back Gang, for T-Roy. HK would begin to be heavily on Instagram, flaunting the chain that he had at T-Roy. He was not making a lot of posts, assuming that he was angry about the murder of his brother. Mad at T-Roy for even going to the store and not being careful. And it was even rumored that T-Roy had a gun. Poppy's death hit the internet. Taekwon World STL reacted, and O Block, they warned that there was one get back and there would be a lot more to come. So the next murders that happened will be right up under STL's nose. It was the murder of Brick and Kobe. Rumor was that Brick and Kobe was on STL when a car pulled up. 3 mass shooters hopped out, shot Kobe first, and then they chased FBG Brick, which is the brother of FBG Duck. Chased FBG Brick around the corner and shot him in his back. it was rumored that T-Roy's little brother HK was involved in this slaying too. At this point, HK had already caught multiple bodies. He was already out of his mind. He was so angry about the murder of his brother that he said he would never stop until he avenged his brother's killer. So he wouldn't feel that his brother's killer would walk around breathing and his brother was gone. He wanted to ensure that his brother's killer would be right with him. So next murder, the fourth murder, was at this point Taekwon World TB had lost Brick, he had lost Kobe, and lost his friend Poppy. Him and Poppy was pretty close. TB, he knew what he had did to T-Roy, and he would even go taunting on Twitter, making this post saying that y'all will never ever get back. Right after this, it was rumored that TB was in a mental-like state, says from Mama Duck, because he knew what he had did with T-Roy. Because he knew what he had did to T-Roy. Whether that was TB's first murder or not, we will never know, but we know that if it was not his first or his last, that was a murder that he committed, and it would be his last, because he knew he couldn't eat. He knew he couldn't even wash. He knew he couldn't even take a shower without the feeling of knowing that O-Block was after him for what he did to T-Roy. He knew that his time was coming. He knew his days were numbered. There's times he couldn't even sleep at night, probably, knowing that the Get Back gang would soon catch up with him, because by this time it was rumored that he's the one that actually killed T-Roy. So O-Block knew exactly what to look for. And on one fateful day, TB had made the mistake by standing on the porch with Side, who was killed with Motor. Side and TB was standing on a porch when a car pulled up and a masked gunman hopped out and shot TB in the head, in the neck, in the chest, and the arm, and the lower torso. And Side was shot in the head, but he survived, but TB didn't. It would be all over the internet that O-Block had finally got their get back on TB, and T-Roy's killer was assured dead. And it was also assured to everybody that T-Roy's killer was also now dead. TB, it was rumored that when HK hopped out, because it was rumored that HK was the gunman in this situation, it was rumored that HK, when he pulled up and hopped out on TB before he shot him and killed him, TB actually looked at HK and said, "You got me," indicating that he's the one that actually murdered his brother. HK got their get back, and now it seemed like the Get Back gang would kind of simmer down, but then you already know it always gets worse. On one fateful day, HK, he was hanging out with McAdoo and Lil D when they seen a guy walking in the O-Block. He was not a gang member. They mistaked this man for a gang member and chased this man into the apartments. The man had ran into his apartment, locked the door, and shot through the door and shot HK. McAdoo and Lil D ran off. HK continued to lay right there on the floor in O-Block. I guess they mistaked the guy for being a gang member and thought he had something on him that was valuable. As HK lay right there, McAdoo and them run off. The police, they pull up, the ambulance take HK. Of course, a crowd is assuming around O-Block now. They take HK's body after the crowd crowded around O-Block. They take HK's body out. They take him to the hospital where HK was pronounced dead. HK passed away, but he didn't die to a get back. Now, right after HK's death, O-Block didn't make any secret that HK avenged T-Roy's death. Boss Top even said, "Long live Headshot Heck." He did that for Boss T, indicate that he got back for his brother. So I want to let everyone know right now, what we can learn from HK is that you can be just like HK and be cool, but as long as your family is in the streets, such as his brother T-Roy, it's always a high chance that your family member can be murdered, and then you don't know what you would do until it happens to you. HK didn't think that he would become a serial killer, but he knew that. But when T. Roy was killed, HK lost his mind. He probably looked at his mother and thought, "You don't know, Ma." He probably looked. HK had to look at T. Roy. HK had to look at his mom, knowing that the ops killed him. HK had to see the pain in T. Roy and his mom's eyes. That's what made HK had to look down and see T. Roy in the casket. That's what made him. That's what made HK go crazy. And well, it resulted in HK becoming a killer, and he did indeed get back for his brother, which is what any brother should do. So what we can learn from HK is you could become a HK's. We can learn from this story is anything can happen to you when you're in the streets, and anything can make you become. And what we can learn from HK is, even though HK had went crazy and became a killer for the murder of his brother T. Roy, he still kept playing the tough role after that. Even though he had murdered a few people, he wasn't even worried about dying or the police getting up on him. So what he did was he went and he was not careful enough, and he let his guard down, and he lost his life due to the same thing that he did to someone else. So playing the tough role isn't always good. Sometimes it's good. So playing the tough role isn't always good. And it's rumored now that HK would actually be charged with the murder of TB and Poppy if he was alive after the FBG Duck Rico case. So yeah, I want everyone to like this video, comment, and subscribe. This was the story of HK Headshot King. Peace.